It's time for another Out of Bounds Rewind with Bo Bounds on ESPN 105.9, The Zone.
Now that they're hosting Memphis and they're older and they've got a much more older team than they've had in the last 3 or 4 years, when you look at that line, do you feel like that MSU should blow Memphis out this weekend?
I think State should win comfortably. I mean, I guess it depends on what you define as a blowout. But I think State will cover the line. I mean, I've seen it at some point. I guess it was as high as 16.5, and I guess it settled somewhere around 14. I suspect that come game time, it'll go back up a little bit. You know how these bookies are. I mean, it's like if all the money's going on Mississippi State, or on Memphis, they'll lower the line a little bit to try to get the favorite, some action. But, I expect State to win the game comfortably. Maybe it's a game for a quarter and a half, perhaps a half. But I think in the end, it's just kind of like that drip, drip, drip thing. You keep dumping those passes off, and you keep doing the underneath stuff. Eventually, something breaks loose over the top. And I think with the experience this team has on defense and what you brought in from the portal, I think it's going to be difficult for Memphis to kind of keep up in a ball game like that.
Do you sense that there's a little bit of a revenge game, or it's just a season opener?
No, I think there's definitely a revenge factor here, and I think a lot of it's because Mississippi State is embarrassed for how they didn't put that game away last year, and they kind of allowed themselves to be in a position for some fluky things to happen. And so they'll downplay that all week in the media and that sort of stuff, but you just kind of get the sense they're eager to get Memphis on their home field and maybe kind of, I guess you could say redeem themselves a little bit. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, State's up 2 scores in that game, and Emmanuel Forbes picks off a pass in the third quarter and sets you up in the red zone. You come away empty, and that really proved to be, one of the most significant offensive drives of the ball game. You didn't even attempt a field goal, and you go for it on 4th down, close there, and you come away with nothing. And that energized that Memphis team. That allowed them to kind of stay in the game. If State scores a touchdown there and goes up 3 scores, I suspect that game gets away from Memphis. But I think Mississippi State doesn't see it as a situation that they were defeated by Memphis. I think Mississippi State feels like that they lost the game, and it was really all within their own reach. And so I think you will see a renewed focus, and I think that you will see them dialed in pretty good. Mike Leach shouldn't have to say anything. As you mentioned, that was a really bad loss, and to a Memphis team that was very average at best. And then you see State go on the road and beat A&M and beat Auburn, and you think, well, how in the world did they lose to Memphis? It was really one of those things that kind of was a bit of an anchor on the season all year long. It's like, I cannot believe we lost to these guys. And so I think they're tired of hearing about that, and I think they're going to come out with some pretty strong vigor on Saturday.
Steve Robertson, 247 Sports, the Boneyard Podcast, Gene's page. He joins us on the Yuengling Lager guest line. MSU will host Memphis 6:30 Saturday night in Starkville, and they lost to the Memphis Tigers last year in what was a pretty crazy game.
Don't miss one moment of the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Weekdays 7 a.m. till 10 a.m. on ESPN 105.9 The Zone.